Given Ukraine's military and commercial gains in the Black Sea, Ukrainian naval officers and business owners in Odessa are skeptical about the benefits Ukraine could gain from a ceasefire deal with Russia. In comments to the New York Times, they note that a ceasefire could save ports from Russian drone and missile strikes, but it could also mean giving up Ukraine's strategic advantage at sea, perhaps the only area of the battlefield where it has an advantage. "I don't want a ceasefire," said Tariel Khadzhishvili, head of Novik LLC, a Ukrainian shipping agent based in Odessa. "The only side that wants a ceasefire is Russia because it no longer controls the Black Sea." Ukrainian skepticism has only increased over Moscow's terms for a ceasefire, the lifting of some Western economic sanctions and a return to previous UN-backed grain deal. At the same time as the captain of the Ukrainian patrol boat Mikhailo, who escorts commercial vessels near the coast of Ukraine, noted in a commentary to the NYT, more ships are now passing through the new corridor than during the time of the grain agreement under the auspices of the UN. Against this backdrop, experts see little benefit for Ukraine in a ceasefire in the Black Sea. According to them, all Ukraine could gain from a ceasefire is an end to Russian strikes on its ports. The attacks have damaged several ships and destroyed many containers and grain storage facilities, according to Yuri Vaskov, a former deputy minister of infrastructure of Ukraine. At the peak of the attacks in the second half of 2023, the export capacity of Odessa ports fell to 20%. Captain Dmitry Platenchuk, a spokesman for the Ukrainian Navy, also said that for Ukraine, a ceasefire in the Black Sea means, first of all, an end to attacks on port infrastructure so that our grain corridor can operate without interruption. "Russia has nothing more to offer us in this agreement," he told the NYT during an interview in Odessa. It remains unclear whether the ceasefire will ever take effect. Ukrainian military officials have noted that Russia has refrained from attacking Ukrainian ports since talks last month, meeting one of Kiev's main demands, but they caution that it is too early to call it a truce. At the same time, Andriy Klimenko, head of the Black Sea Institute for Strategic Studies, said he does not expect the two sides to ever establish a maritime truce, given their conflicting demands. He suspects that Russia wants to use the truce to move some of its ships back to the central Black Sea for a quick counterattack. Russia and Ukraine have agreed to a ceasefire in the Black Sea, but experts and Western media believe it benefits Moscow more than it requires significant concessions from Putin. At the same time, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenski said that Russia wants to take control of the Black Sea trade corridor. He assured that Ukraine will not allow this to happen. Earlier, Captain First Rank, former Deputy Chief of Staff of the Ukrainian Navy, Andriy Ryzenko, said that the real guarantor of security in the Black Sea could be Turkey, which has the appropriate forces and controls the Bosphorus. He explained that the real guarantor could be the one who has power at sea, ships, aircraft.
NATO's chief raised concerns about China's arms buildup and military drills near Taiwan and called on the organization members and friendly nations to work together to keep free and open sea lanes in the region. China is supporting the Russian war effort. China is building up its armed forces, including its navy, at a rapid pace, Secretary General Mark Rutte told reporters as he wrapped up his visit to the Japanese Navy port of Yokosuka on Tuesday. According to Associated Press, Japan considers China a threat in the region and has, in recent years, accelerated its military buildup, including preparing to acquire strike-back capability with long-range cruise missiles. Rutte dispelled any concerns over U.S. security guarantees, saying that the U.S. requested NATO to be more involved in the Indo-Pacific region. "I'm here to expand our relationship with the IP4. Rutte is expected to meet Japan's defense minister later on Tuesday and Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba on Wednesday in Tokyo.
And of course, it also has to do with the role China is playing. Let's not be naive about it. China is supporting the Russian war effort. China is building up its armed forces, including its navy, at a rapid pace. So we cannot be naive, and we really have to work together, assess what is happening, and therefore I think developing the defense industrial base is so important. That is one of the focal points in my visit here. Thank you. You know the policies of all allies in NATO, but also when it comes to the IP4 concerning Taiwan, so that you know. And of course we are worried about all these drills and all these military exercises. So we follow them very closely and are a worrying sign, clearly. And it was the US itself which also asked me, NATO, to become even more involved, not like in Article 5 or anything like that, but in terms of joint defense industrial capacity, base building, innovations, etc. That's one of the reasons I'm here, to really expand that relationship with the IP4 and now with the biggest IP4 partner, which clearly is Japan, also being the only member of the G7 not in NATO. So this is an important visit, and I'm really very glad that the US is sticking to that relationship with Japan. I think it's very important.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with President Donald Trump in Washington on Monday, becoming the first foreign leader to visit Trump since he unleashed tariffs on countries around the world. According to Associated Press, whether Netanyahu's visit succeeds in bringing down or eliminating Israel's tariffs remains to be seen, but how it plays out could set the stage for how other world leaders try to address the new tariffs. Trump greeted the Israeli Prime Minister with a firm handshake as he arrived for talks. The U.S. president ignored shouted questions from reporters about the tumbling global markets and whether he would lift tariffs on Israel. Shortly before their meeting, the White House announced that Trump and Netanyahu's plans to hold a joint news conference had been cancelled. The White House did not offer any immediate explanation for why it was scrapped, but Trump and Netanyahu were expected to make comments to reporters at the start of their scheduled Oval Office meeting. Netanyahu's office has put the focus of his hastily organized Washington visit on the tariffs, while stressing that the two leaders will discuss major geopolitical issues including the war in Gaza, tensions with Iran, Israel-Turkey ties, and the International Criminal Court, which issued an arrest warrant against the Israeli leader last year. Trump in February signed an executive order imposing sanctions on the ICC over its investigations of Israel.
Ready two, ready doors, ready pop, ready open. Ready close, ready shut. 3, 4 march.